All right, y'all. So what's up? I'm back with more discussions on sneaker law. A little bit different setup today. I decided to go with me sitting in the front of the office, and so you could. That was the end of chapter 1. You could see how chapter 2 starts, and you got the, HU NMD for rel over there on that page. But the second chapter is starting your own business. Buying this book is an investment that you need to make. I'm not advertising for these guys. I got the book and I'm reading it, and I realized that had I had a mentor, or if I had this book, if I had a book that could give me details about how the sneaker industry works as it relates to business. I wrote about 3 different business books, and I wrote them because I was frustrated with the business books that were available on the market. Chapter 2 of this book is the most important section of this book. I haven't even gone past that chapter 2. I stopped on chapter 2, and you see I only have a few, well actually I have a lot of notes in here, you can see. It's easily the most important section, and it references chapter 7, so I assume chapter 7 is going to be very important. I didn't jump forward. But let's get into my notes for this section, and you should see, I'm going to put my finger here. I'll put the notes highlighted next to me so you can read them. But starting your own business, it's an extremely important section because the majority of the time when people start business, I have even been a person that said just get started. There should be a caveat applied to that. You can't just get started if you don't have a business plan, if you don't have certain things in line. And this book did a very good job of bringing a lot of the things that I discuss in my books to the forefront. But what it did is it talked about entity types and formation. And I won't give you everything, but it told you about sole proprietorship. And my note here was you can't get investments for a sole proprietorship. That was like the most important thing I've seen, because my business, this office, is still a sole proprietorship. It's not an LLC. And I'm shook to my core right now because I didn't understand that you can't get investments for a sole proprietorship. So when people start businesses and they don't do an LLC, and I'm going to get to the different entity types for business. I'm going to get to them, but I'm going to go through my notes first. I left another note here and it said taxation is not separate from the owner, Schedule C. I wrote that because right now there are a lot of people who've been reselling sneakers, and they don't understand how taxation works, and the book gives you a very good overview. Now, you'll need a CPA to get into a lot of the other stuff, but the book gives you a very good overview. So it even gives you tax forms and how to form a sole proprietorship. And here on this page, I wrote partnership. Now, that's the second form of an entity. You can do a partnership. A sole proprietorship is the first, partnership, and then he gives a breakdown of the different types of partnerships. In my note for the partnership section, both people have personal liability and sharing any losses. And then there's 2 types. There's a general and a limited. But the taxation structure is similar. Now, I won't go into further detail because you need to buy the book. The LLC is the next entity. So you have a limited liability LLC, right, that you can have. So you have sole proprietorship, partnership, general partnership, LLC. And the LLC, the most important thing in this section you need to understand is a corporate veil. I'll leave it there. You need to look at it. And I also wrote operating agreements, easier to invest. PLLCs are for professionals. Now, that's all I'm saying there, and I'll put that note right next to me so you'll see it. My next note from this section goes on to talk about corporations, right? And corporations can raise capital by offering shares of stock. So once you get to the point where you think you have a business that's truly investable or big enough to go public, you have a corporation. You need to have a corporation, and then there are bylaws, and he's actually, the guys have the bylaws here. So I got another, gosh, I didn't even realize I had this many stickies. Here, he gets into the business plan aspect, and I actually teach business writing. So I have business plans available. If you need one, just leave a comment and I'll send you a sample business plan. But he's got a better breakdown that's more isolated, and it's not isolated, but more compact. So you may want to go with what's in the book here. But business plans aren't very hard to write. This is my note. They are time consuming because of the research required. Once it is complete, you will deviate, but it definitely gives you direction. And that's my note there. He goes into intellectual property. I got to take a pause. I got a phone call. Hands down, the most important part of the book here, intellectual properties, copyrights versus trademarks. Dog. He's got this flow chart here. How to file a trademark. How much money could I have saved had I had this book? And there are a lot of things out there, but man, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And then he has a section on independent contractors, which I work with a lot of people who I call independent contractors because I do consignment. And I have a big question for Jared or Kenneth. My question is for consignment purposes. How do you look at a consigner? Do you have to give the consigner a 1099 MSC? That's my question. Hopefully they'll come on here and answer it. And then my final thing is about record and record keeping. And when I hired an employee, I used ADP. So I'm going to stop right there because, yeah, I have to get to work. But I wanted to make sure I got this video in. And I'll see you guys on the next one. SNKRLAW, definitely a book you need to get. Chapter 3, notes coming up probably in a few days or a week. See you guys on the next one. Peace. Got a feeling I ran out of tape there. And it's not even recording, y'all. Yes.